Under 40 CEOs. Drive your ambition. Brought to you by Mitsubishi. A graduate of law from the University of Lagos, Ighiwiyisi Jacobs is a heartfelt worship leader, an articulate speaker, writer, and entrepreneur. She is the creative director at Hermosa Boda, a custom production design and visual merchandising service with particular attention to window displays. Hermosa Boda does distinctive customized props and themed effects for a wide range of events, including weddings. The company's offering includes stage designs, set design, and store window design, among others. Hermosa Boda employs three major genres: wonders, wishes, and whimsy to create its designs. Hermosa Boda builds sets exclusively created and finished for each client. All right, thank you for riding with me.
Thank you for having me.
Right, so we see how, tell me about this journey and how you got started, with set design. You're a lawyer. How did this happen?
Well, I read law in school, but yeah. I knew kind of like from year one that I wasn't going to practice law, but I finished it all the same. My mom was a lawyer, so it just made sense to do law, and no knowledge is lost, so it was fine to do it. But set design is a funny story. Set design? My sister was getting married and she wanted to do something. She wanted to do a production. She didn't want to do the normal thing, flowers and drapes. She wanted to have, is it not Lion King? Is it Lion King? I think it was Lion King. Can't remember what, but there was a production. She wanted a stage show and blah, blah, blah. She wanted things to be built for her. I wasn't ready to do it, so we found someone else to help us, so I scripted the wedding, but I didn't build, I didn't do anything in particular apart from her cake table. What that did though was that it showed me that there were people who didn't want the normal thing. There are not many, but there are people like that, and so that's where the idea for set design came in. I just realized there is a niche, and I wanted to cater to them. So,
right.
Yeah.
So starting off for you must have been a bit jerky.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about those challenges that you faced, before making the strides that you eventually made.
Oh no, it was. I think my biggest challenge was capital. I thought it was capital, but I found out later it wasn't capital. But at the beginning, I thought that was what I needed. I needed money to make this happen. It turns out that I just needed grit. I needed to not give up. I needed to just pick things around me and keep on going. So at first, the problem was trying to describe to people what you actually were trying to do. People understand permanent structures. They understand a staircase that's built in a house, they understand. But when you say you're going to move that whole staircase across town to somewhere, people just don't. They're like, how? What do you mean? Okay, amazing. So have you ever made a business decision that you've had to back up from? Oh yes, I wanted to go. So I don't know whether to say their names, but there's these people who do this sort of exhibition every year. I don't know, they did that like 4 years in a row, but I don't know that they still do it now. So I went and I thought that was the way to go because it's in the wedding industry and blah, blah, blah. So I paid money the first time and then couldn't make it. Not that I couldn't make it because I had work to do. I just didn't have the money to build the set to put on display. So I put all the money into getting the booth, but no money to do the set itself. So I had to postpone that for 2 years. By the third year, I had to call it quits. And so I called them, and because they kept rolling it over for me. Don't worry, come next year, we'll do it again next year. By the third year, it was now a case of not money, I didn't have the time. So it dawned on me that that was not my niche. Apart from the fact that I didn't have the time or the money at the time, the clientele wasn't right. Those were not the people I was targeting. Not the people who just march past and pick some flowers and some, vases for their weddings. It had to be people who were serious about building, and that wasn't the right place for me. So it was painful because it was not small money, but I had to let that go. I couldn't get a refund, but I learned a lesson.
All right, so looking back now, what is that one big lesson that you've learned in running a business to profitability and can share?
Hard work. I know it sounds cliche and I know it sounds boring. You kind of want to hear some, flash in the pan kind of thing, but hard work. There's no other way to do it. You close last, you're there first. You cry, sweat, bleed, when I say cry, sweat, bleed, I mean that literally. I've bled, cried, and sweated on my work, and you do it, but you do it on your work, like in your office. You don't move, you don't, it's a lot of work. But if it's work that you enjoy, I know this is another cliche sounding thing, but if you enjoy it, it won't feel like work. It will feel painful, difficult, but you will be fulfilled with it. But yeah, there's no shortcut to it.
All right. So when hiring, what are those qualities that you look out for?
Fantastic. So I never look at a CV. It's never about what you have on paper. The most important thing, there are two things for me. Hard work. I need a person who is a hard worker. Then I need a person who is able to learn. Anyone who is able to learn quickly is fine to work with me.
Okay, so I know you're a mother, you're a wife, and CEO, working all these long hours. How are you able to, effectively switch gears between being all of these things and balancing them out?
I have to say, and I'll be honest here, I feel that for one to really thrive, some have to suffer. There's a bit of suffering on one side when one is thriving, and when the other is thriving, a bit of suffering. So it is a juggling act, and when you're juggling, one ball is in the air and some are in your hand, and you keep your eyes on all the balls, but some are in the air and some are in your hand. And that ball in the air is probably thinking, will I be caught? It's kind of like, oh my God, I hope I'm not going to fall down.
All right, so how do you generally cool off?
I sleep a lot. I don't like the daytime. I'm not a morning person at all. So I sleep, I watch movies, and I eat. I binge eat. I eat a lot. And I like to eat sweet stuff. I have a sweet tooth. So that is my cool off. I don't think I have any other thing. Movies, I love to watch. I love to snuggle up when everybody's out and doing hard work in the sun. I love the idea of being in my room and curled up and not doing anything. So yeah.
All right. So what's your favorite jam?
I'm not I sing, but I'm not a music, but like I have a playlist. Well, okay. If you look at my playlist, maybe what the question should be, what have I been listening to on repeat for the past maybe like couple of weeks? It would be So Will I. There's a Christian song called So Will I. That's fantastic. I just love it. So I keep that on repeat.
So lastly, I'd like to know, Ighiwiyisi, what drives your ambition?
I want to be remembered for making a difference. And I know it sounds, once again, cliche, but I really do want that. And it's not for fame. I just want to prove that it was doable. I hate to hear it can't be done. It's probably the worst set of words you can say to me. All I hear when you say that is, someone else can do it, you just can't do it. So the idea that I'm able to push a boundary and break it every single time I do that, it makes me want to go further. And that's what drives my ambition. Success, failure, fear, all of it drives me to make a difference. I want to look back at my life and know that in that small niche, I made a difference.
That's amazing. Thank you for writing me.
Thank you for having me.
Motors, sole distributors of Mitsubishi motors in Nigeria.